Well, hey guys, great to see you. I hope everyone is doing well. Today I want to talk about these YouTube streets. Is it me or is YouTube changing? And actually I believe that YouTube is changing. There was a time when a small content creator could just share something they were interested in, and then they would just show you how they did it. No one claimed to be an expert except maybe Dave Canterbury. For those of you who don't know, I'm talking about camping and bushcraft and wild camping, because that's why I came to YouTube. I wanted to do a trip, an overnight trip on the Appalachian Trail, and while camping I had nailed, I really didn't know too much about backpacking and hiking and stuff like that. So yeah, I picked some channels to try to get some information from. When I first attempted that hike, it was an absolute disaster. And mainly because someone had given me advice of an easy trail to take, but they got the direction mixed up. They told me to turn right when they actually should have told me to turn left. So the day before the trip, I go up there just to make sure I know, what's going on. Got all my stuff packed at the house. I turn right where they tell me to, and nothing but boulders. And I mean big ass boulders. The whole trail was a boulder field. And so I canceled the trip. And then later on, I found out they meant to tell me to turn left. So then I rescheduled the trip, and I actually did it. And that was a lot of fun. As a matter of fact, I've actually slept on the Appalachian Trail twice. But anyway, I digress. When I first started, and I found all these great channels to watch, people had different opinions about how things should be done. And so it was up to you to decide what would work best for you. But I noticed the other day that I hadn't seen some of my favorite bushcrafter and wild camping channels come up in my feed. And for those of you who don't know what wild camping is, it's basically a UK thing, because they have mountains and bogs. Basically, the guys would climb a mountain and camp on a mountain. Now, a couple years ago, it was only guys doing it. Now there are women doing it, just like there are women doing bushcraft. Now, I kind of thought it's probably just as well that I got arthritis, because the game has changed. And that's the whole point of this video. The game has changed. Before, people were happy for you to share with them the thing you enjoy doing. Now, people want to give you suggestions on how to do it and what you should do next. That I have noticed that a lot of the what I call OGs of the outside world are basically not retiring, but pulling back. They realize they cannot keep up with the new breed of outdoor people. See, the outdoor people that I came to love and I could depend on good advice from, they were adventurers. I like to think of myself as a little adventurer, But what we have now are risk takers. Everybody knew when I camped, even though I camped in a beautiful place, that I was safe. It was a privately owned campground, and the owners lived right there. Because I can't imagine going out into the woods by myself. I just can't imagine me doing that for any reason. Now, women do it. Just like the mountain camping, the wild camp. Guys only did that a few years ago. Now they have women who have YouTube channels and they do it. Now, to me, wild camping is like one of the most extreme things you can do. First of all, you got to climb a mountain with all your gear. And then you got to set it up, because the higher you get up on the mountain, the windier it gets. So you need to know the level gear that you have and how much stress your tent can take. Not everybody can afford a hilly. So a lot of the guys I watched, some of them had hillies, and they would camp higher up on the mountain where the winds were 40, 50 miles an hour. But back then, that was not the norm. Most of the guys didn't camp in anything more than 30 miles an hour. Even though a hilly can take 50, who the hell wants to be sitting in a tent going like this the whole time? That is nerve-wracking. But the new breed of campers do that. Every single video they put up is living on the edge. So yeah, a lot of the OGs have kind of pulled back. I think a lot of them try to, be a little bit more risk-taking. But then you got to remember, we're older. I mean, how much are you willing to risk just so you can hit 1 million views? I know for me, myself, I would love to do a winter camping trip. But see, my idea of a winter camping trip is gently, snow, and looking at the river, and looking all around with no footprints. These days, male and female, when they do winter camping videos, we talking full-on blizzards. I half-ass watched a video the other day where someone camped in a hammock at the ocean, in the woods, with the ocean in front, and their little dog, in a hurricane. Today's YouTubers are so willing to do whatever it takes for views. It's like everybody is over the top. Everybody's willing to take risks. Everybody's probably willing to go into debt to buy a new tent every week. Now, a lot of times, manufacturers will send you a tent to try out. After you get a certain amount of subscribers, or more, I should say, a certain amount of views on your videos, they'll reach out to you. And then they usually say, okay, I'm going to review this tent. Well, it's kind of hard to review a tent that somebody gave you for free. I would prefer you just bought the tent, then you can say whatever the hell you want to about it. So at this point, they're not always honest about how they got the tent. And then if they say, well, they gave it to me to try out, well, I already know pretty much just don't believe anything that they say about this tent. Because who doesn't want a sponsorship deal, So I find it discouraging that it's hard to look at anything on YouTube now that's not over the top ridiculous with dramatics or so risk. The real reason I was upset about the hurricane thing, now if his dumbass wanted to sit in a hammock in the middle of a hurricane, in the middle of a forest, then fine. But don't bring your dog with you. That's why I was upset. He brought his dog. And that poor thing I thought it looked traumatized. So, I mean, what do we do? What do us older people do? I decided after that video with him, in the hurricane, and taking the poor little dog with him too, and left the dog in the hammock so he could go show the viewers what the ocean looks like in the middle of a hurricane. I cannot forgive him for that. And so I said, I'll never watch another video. But then again, that was the first one I watched, and he'd been around for 4 years. It's just, I find myself seeking out some of the older, older OGs who aren't as over the top, who aren't as, attention starved, and who aren't as needy financially that they'll do anything for money. Okay, so their trips are, rather boring and predictable, but you know what? They're pleasant to watch, and they're just so relaxing. Better that than some. And why does everybody talk so damn fast? Rather than having somebody who looks like they're manic, just at the camera, the whole damn time. I'm just too old for this shit. Okay. So basically, that's the video in a nutshell. You all tell me, do you think YouTube has changed? And has it gone from just sharing, hobbies to everybody wants to, go viral, and no matter what it takes, they're willing to do way too many sketchy things? Tell me what you think, because maybe it's just me, but you tell me what you think. Take care, stay blessed, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.